All right, so bring this to a okay. So let's say we are going to actually draw this, all right, over here. So you can actually study this image, okay, and from here we have to first see which profile will be the place we are going to actually put as the first reference point. So if you study the structure, either point A will go as a reference point here, or the circle will come as a reference point here. So it's up to us to actually decide. And as we mature in our design, we'll be able to actually select the correct reference points to begin our sketch with. So I'm actually going to choose part A, okay? The point A over here. So what we are going to do, right? So I'm going to select my line. Okay. So I will draw a line from the center over here. Okay. I just draw the line out and one line up. Okay. To end the line, I must double click. Okay. And then you can see now this one is green and this one is white. So over here, this video will show us what is the constrained dimension and what is not constrained. So what is already green means it's a resolved constraint, whereby you can see now I tried to shift this line, I can't. It's already rooted here. Whereas this one, which is white, I can actually move it around. If you notice, you see? Now I could not do that to the green. The only thing I could do with the green was actually the length change, all right? But the position has been fixed, okay? So that's the idea when we say that we need to resolve a constraint. When we are making a design, all the lines must be fully fixed and resolved. Only then that particular diagram is considered or model is considered valid, okay? So if I look at this, okay, we look at the length of this from the line AB, okay, the length is 94, and the line BC, the length is 40, okay. So we give a dimension, all right. I'll bring this down so it's not cluttering. Okay, so this is the dimension just now. Yes, somebody said something?
Madam, so when we put the dimension, the line will be automatically fixed in place?
Okay, so now you can see, this one, I'm putting 94, right? The other one, it said 40. So I'm going to put the dimension now. It's still white. I double click on it. I key in the value. I click OK. It's still white. All right. So the question here is, why is it white? Okay. Now, this line is green because the origin is fixed on the origin. A length has been given on a horizontal node. This line, the dimension is 40, but has it fully explained the position of this line? No, because we want, this is an angular line. We need to know the angle, whatever drawings or dimensions, sorry, whatever profiles that you are developing, the profiles must always be given dimensions either with relation to the origin or with relation to another constraint item. Okay, so this line AB is now constrained based on the relation to the origin, hence it's green. This line BC, I'm going to now constrain it with relation to line AB. So what I'm going to do, you see I click this dimension, constraint, and I click this line and this line. So I'm creating an angle. So the minute I create the angle, you can see this line turns green. Why? Now the line has a direction, it has a dimension, plus it has an angular dimension to define how much from this. Okay. So what is the angular dimension? It says 135. So double click, 135. Done. Okay. So next we go on to the next one. So line CD, for instance. CD. Okay. So draw from here to here. So I did not click off the line just now. So if I want to delete it, I can either, I accidentally did not double click to end the line, right? So if I want to delete, either you click on this, you see, and then you press delete from your keyboard, or here I will show you trim options. You can see this toolbar called operation, right? Under this toolbar, this is round corner, this is chamfer, and you can see over here trim. So under this trim toolbar, you can see you have this trim icon here, you have the break icon over here, and you have the quick trim. For now, let's use the quick trim first, this eraser thing. You click on this and I can trim. Okay, so the same thing now for this line, we need to give a constraint. I double click on the constraint so it remains activated. I give a dimension, and I will also give its angle, which is 150. So I'll change this to 150, and the line CD is 35. Okay, so you can see now in your picture there are only angles, very few dimensions, and everything else is written over here. Similarly, if I'm going to keep building, there'll be lots of dimensions over there. So you can actually do what? Let's say you come to this dimension over here, go to the dimension, you see it says length 14, right click. Okay, you can hide it if you want to hide. All right, sorry. Okay, so let's say you want it to be displayed again. Okay, what you need to do is to go to the model tree. You can see part 1, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, explain, part body, the plus sign over here, expand. And then this is your sketch 1, expand again. And what we did, all these dimensions are under the constraint toolbar. Expand the constraint toolbar. And when you expand, you can see there's parallelism, length 9, length 10, angle 12, length 14, angle 16. Length 14, I hid it. You can see it appears gray. You can right click on it and show. Okay, so if you want to neaten your dimensions within a sketch, you can choose to hide or display. Okay, so collapse this back. All right. The next thing is, okay, CD and then DE. Okay, so we will go into, I'll just use the normal line now. Okay, so I click here. Okay, you see? Now, as I'm drawing, let's just say you can see now, you get this blue line forming a parallel line. Let's say I click. I allow it, accidentally, I just allow it to take place. Now, what was DE? DE's length is 57 and the angle here is 120. Okay, so I go to my constraint. Okay, so I put 57. Okay, and it turned green. So how did it turn green when I did not even actually place the angle? By right, I should place the angle, right? Why it turned green is because I told you it automatically had a link, a constraint pre-created. That means there was an alignment, a supposed alignment like this that it created, which should not have happened. Okay, so now if I want to give an angle from here to here, you see what happens? It turns purple. Turning purple means, just now I showed you all in the toolbox option, right? It means over constraint. So what is over constraint? It means you are giving a dimension which is already present and known to the computer, to the program. So why does it know this as 132? Because I told you, it auto-align this point to this point. And when it auto-align, that means this is the dimension it's going to create. So what can you do to this? You need to remove this line and redo it again. So you delete the dimension, delete this line again. Okay, and ensure when you are forming this kind of line, unless you want the constraint to take place, do not allow it to take place. So I click out of it. Okay, and when you double click, you can also give the length over here. Okay, so what was the length just now? DE is 57. Okay, so you see, when you actually put the length over there, sometimes it does not appear here too. And then you can give the angular length, which was 120. So now you get your length adjusted. Okay, so like that, we can go on constructing this. So we have DE and then we go to EF. Okay. So EF is 87. Double click 87 and the angle is 105 here. EF 87 and 105. Okay, so for some reason there is no connection over here, so I'll delete it, redo again. Okay, from here to here. Seven. Hundred and five. Okay, that's because earlier on this line was, the dimension wasn't present, so it's not recognizing the thing. Okay. Lid. So 57 for DE. Angle is 120. Okay, and then '87 angle was, okay, 105. All right. So earlier on, this thing wasn't constrained because this particular dimension was not recorded. Okay. So ensure that the dimensions do appear and recorded. All right. And then we move on into FG. Okay. So you have an option. Let me just try this. Okay. I have a continuous profile. Let's say FG. And then something like this. And then something like this. Thing like this and something like this. So I completed the whole thing. So now I'm going to adjust it stage by stage. FG 61. And 105. Okay. And then GH is 48 and 150. So this is 48 and 150. And then we have 90 between these two. Okay, so this is also an option of doing it. Okay, whereby you can construct it one shot, but stage by stage change the dimensions. So JH is 85. So this way you can save your time. Okay, and then 60 here. So we need this to be 60. And we need the length of JK to be 53. Okay, so that didn't work out. I'll undo back again. Delete this and move this out like that. All right, so when such a situation does occur, when you saw what I did, so I undid and readjusted, all right, for its formation to take place. So now I will put, sorry, again, now try adjusting to 60. Okay, so it will fit into place better. And JK is 53. So we have the entire diagram constructed. So after which now we need to actually construct the two circles. So I'm going to show you now. We go into circle. And if you look at this circle is above here, 24, and the diameter is 15. So somewhere over here, I'm trying not to click on into anything. You see, the blue line clicks on either way. So I put it like that. See, that also I don't want any tangential forming. Okay, so one circle is done. And this is the radius, okay? So based on the radius, it says diameter 15. So you right click on the radius, sorry, or you double click on the dimension. You can see the dimension sign here. You can move this to diameter and put 15. Okay, and then you need the distance of this center to this plane, which should be 24 according to the diagram. Okay, so now this turns green. So why earlier on it was only aligned to the vertical axis, it should be also referenced to the horizontal axis. So next, another circle which is about 73 millimeters away with the same dimension. Okay, circle, click on circle, and then, so okay, now I don't mind aligning the circle to the same center, if you see. So I allow that to happen, but I don't want any tangent. Okay, so now undo. Circle again. So after the circle, right click, and again diameter 15. Okay, and then now we give the distance. Distance of circle to circle, center to this center is 73. And here to here, or let me try another thing. Okay, what I want to show you all over here is I click this center and I click this center. Let me try. Okay, so I go to this constraint define coincidence. Okay, so when I click this, you can see now it turned red. So this was one of the error prompt I told you that will happen when I showed the toolbar option, right? Red means error in the constraint. So unclick, click OK. Now cancel. So why? Because earlier on I already highlighted, aligned this center to this center. Okay, so what I will do now, what we can do now, okay, let me just delete this circle and redo something. Okay, I create a circle instead of creating a dimension. I just, okay, somewhere, okay, with no connection, pull the circle out, double click and give the diameter of 15. Okay, and then I give the distance between both the centers, which was earlier on. Okay, undo. Then what I do is I click the center of this and the center of this, and let me try what I tried just now. Okay, unable to do that. Okay, because it is an angular situation, so it will not take place. Okay, so never mind. We'll go back into creating the circle. Okay, so I'll just keep it to 7.5 because I know it's 15. All right, and then distance, this to the base, 24. This center to this center was 73. So circle is done. Okay. Now next is we have the shape called the elongated hole. So you can look through all the different profiles over here and look at the elongated, under the rectangle, you can see the elongated hole profile. So I'm not going to show you how to do this. If you click over here, okay, to know what exactly to be done within Catia, okay, now how do I draw an elongated hole? So I'm going to draw it out of this. So to know what to do, as soon as I click this icon, look at the bottom left hand corner. Okay, the instructions will be given. So it says over here, define the center to center distance. So one center to another center distance. Next, click or define a point along the elongated hole. So this is how it will be. So any point along, you see. Okay, and once I click, elongated hole is done. Where you have the center to center distance, okay, which is the 73, and you will have the radius of the elongated hole, so which you adjust and you can align. So I want you all to try adjusting this portion of it. Form what do you call the okay, never mind, maybe this I will show you all, and then the other tutorials you all can do. Okay, so we click the elongated hole. All right, so center. So again, be very careful. So easy to snap on into some existing reference. So I don't want that. Center to center, and okay, pull an elongated hole out. So if you look at this, it's 19 by diameter and it's 24. Okay, the center to center distance is 24. Okay, next there is a reference line, all right, to see the inclination, all right, how much reclined is this elongated hole. So we need a reference of an axis which is 30 degrees, all right, from this center line. Okay, so what we can do is either we can get a line or we can get an axis over here. You can see axis right under the profile toolbar. You see this axis, click on that. Okay, so basically my elongated hole has been aligned poorly to begin with, I would say. So a good way when you're doing any design, try to align it according to the way it should look. So it's a lot easier when you actually do your constraining. So I would prefer to do that again to make things easier. Okay, go back to the elongated hole. It was a bit on the longish side like this, for instance. Okay. Okay, done. So the center was 24. Okay, and 19, so that will be 9.5. All right, and then we get this axis. The axis is from this to this center. Okay, and then the axis has a angle from this axis to this axis. It is a 30-degree angle. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So we have a 30-degree angle, and from this center to this center, it is 81, okay, millimeters. Okay, so again, dimension from this center point to this center, to this. Okay, so we have 81, and then done. So we have a 24 here, a 19 here, a 30. And an 81 distance. So now to constrain this further, So in order to constrain this further, I have given a dimension from this point to the horizontal axis and from this point to the vertical axis, okay, for this to actually turn fully resolved. If I did not do that, I'm going to undo these two dimensions. You will notice that I can move this around. So why can I move this around? Because apparently it has not been constrained in position. So this particular constraint over here, this dimension was not fixed. This entire 81 dimension has not been fixed. So I'm going to undo this, bring it back into position. Okay. So this 81, I'm going to delete now. So this 81, the line 81, as well as you see this axis over here has not been fixed. So what we can do now is we can actually see the end of this axis line. If you see, I've zoomed in. This corner and this, okay. Then I'm just trying something out here. Just give me a minute. Okay. It's not fixed yet. Okay, I'll undo. Now, one more thing I want to show you all over here is actually a constraint defined dialog box feature over here next to the constraint. Okay, I'll pull the constraint icon down. So maybe what I will do is I can show you this in the next class, okay, when we construct 2D2. So you'll be a bit more familiar with this, all right? So for now, this sketch, okay, you notice when I drew the axis, it just went past the center point, okay? So when I try to dimension, all right, here, this point to this point, all right? So when I say 81, okay, so the distance has been adjusted, but it has not fixed into the center carefully, okay? So for that reason, okay, you can see now when I fixed this distance, then it actually turns green, okay? So I'm going to cancel this and, okay. Just now why I told you all this entire thing didn't turn green is because you see I can actually move this thing around, right? Okay. Now I'm moving this thing around. Early on I could move it up and down. Now I can only rotate it, okay? Why only rotation is happening is because it is right now fixed over here. This particular line is already fixed, okay? So if you want to fix this entire thing, all right, undo. Okay, I go back to dimension, this point here and this point here. If I click 81, okay, and then, okay, what I want you all to notice here is I'm going to use the control button in my keyboard. Click control, okay, press on control. I'll show you again next week though, all right? Click on this one center. You can see as I click, it turns orange. Click on this center. That also turned orange. And then when you go to your constraint, you see the first icon here, constraint defined in dialog box. Click on it. So when I click fix, I'm actually fixing this area, okay? So it does not move anymore. What I will actually show you all next week is we don't do this kind of fixing. Instead, we fix them according to dimensions. So I'm going to cancel this, okay? And what is to be recommended over here is you go into dimensions instead. Escape, dimension, and you try to fix, for instance, this one to your vertical plane, okay? So this is a more logical way of placing your sketch in place, all right? Not fixing the way I did where the anchor sign appeared, okay? So now this entire drawing is already green. That means fully resolved. You can't move any part of it, okay? So that would be all for this assignment. Okay, just a minute.